Hi, I'm Raveen, a psychology major student.
And you're now listening to the Thoughts podcast, where we ponder and talk about incongruous thoughts ranging from our daily life to the human mind.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Thoughts podcast. Today I'm talking about something probably you guys have been listening to quite a lot, especially in the recent years, especially when people started focusing more or talking a bit more about mental well-being. Journaling has always been on the list of the topics, right? I definitely would agree that it is a powerful tool for all of us to try to utilize. I grew up being a person that really likes writing. I used to even dream about becoming an author when I grow up. Of course, realistically, it is not that easy, and unfortunately, at this point of life, it hasn't happened to. Not sure about the future. Hopefully, I could do that one day. I used to represent my school and essay competitions. I just love writing. I don't know why. When I was in primary school. So I'm glad that I've even achieved some prizes too, which was a very huge encouragement for me during that time. However, as I slowly grow up and having more access to mobile phones and internet, unfortunately, I've kind of lost my ability in doing so. But in the recent years, I've picked up the habit of writing again. Although it's not always feasible to do it every day, especially when I'm busy with work, but whenever possible and whenever there are thoughts in my mind, that's the first option I'll go to. So, why though? Why writing? Why journaling? I found it very therapeutic as in I could release whatever was in my mind. Sometimes things were just kind of overwhelming, and because there are just so many random thoughts in our mind, it's hard for us to make sense at times, which led us to non-stop overthinking, ruminating over certain thoughts basically. However, when I put it down on paper, it somewhat looked different. I could go from a topic to another while writing and pointing out and pouring out whatever thoughts that I had in my mind, which was really helpful. I sometimes don't even understand what I'm actually thinking about until I put them down on paper, which makes total sense after that. Sometimes we might even feel a bit uneasy with things, but we tend not to engage with our feelings. This could be a little bit difficult after some time because we might just pile up our feelings, and when we can no longer take it anymore, that could burst into something worse. If we're able to release our feelings and emotions when needed, that would make a huge difference. Why? We give ourselves that time and space to sit with our feelings, even though it might be difficult during that moment itself. I've recently came to realization that I have very much trapped in a should way of thinking. I never really let myself sit with whatever I'm feeling. So most of the time it might just be me telling myself, it's alright, you'll be fine, even before I got to process my feelings. Because deep down I have this idea of I should be strong, I should be something else, which is really unhelpful, especially in the long run. Through journaling, although sometimes I still tend to do this should way of thinking while I was writing, but the good thing is I'll able to pinpoint that after I finish writing. Because everything is just in front of me visually, so I could draw connections and find them easier. Sometimes I felt like I'm conversing with someone while writing down whatever thoughts I have. In a way, if you can't really find someone to talk to, it could be a good way to release whatever is on your mind too. So now, here comes the most asked questions. What do you do? How do you start? Well, some people started by doing it like their diary. If that is not something that you particularly enjoy, another good way would be look up for a few prompts online that you would like to reflect on. They will be your guide for your writing every day. For example, what is the three things you would like to express your gratitude to today? Or simply just, how am I feeling today? Or if you want to focus on certain things like maybe your worries, you could ask yourself, what's on my worry list right now and what can I do about it? I'll say it definitely takes time to get used to doing it and to feel comfortable in doing so until it is a very natural habit that you've got. Some people might find it more distressing when they do this. I remembered I used to have a patient where she just couldn't do journaling because she has a very serious traumatic experience that whenever she does that, it will make her experience panic attack and some other post-traumatic stress disorder PTSD symptoms. I mean, not journaling itself, it's just that when she tries to write, it just reminds her of her past because that's basically what's on her mind all the time. So it is alright if you don't find journaling helpful after trying out for some time. There are thousands of ways of how we could express our feelings or cope with our thoughts. Journaling is just one of the ways. It is definitely worth giving it a try. Give yourself some time to try it out. It might either work magically for you or you might find out that nah, it is just not your thing. And that is totally fine too. Hope today's episode has inspired some of you to try out journaling if you haven't already. If you're already journaling regularly, share with me how do you find it and what would be the one prompt that you would suggest people to ask themselves when they first try out journaling. Can't wait to hear from you guys. Well, I guess that's it from me today. Hope you've enjoyed it and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the podcast. If you enjoyed, do share with your friends and family and leave us a review on the Apple Podcast. If you're not using an Apple device, you can leave a review on the Apple Podcast website with a link in the show notes. If you have any feedback or thoughts which you hope that we'll discuss in the future, feel free to email them to us at hello@incthoughts.com, or alternatively, you can send us a private message on our Facebook, Instagram or Twitter with the username of incthoughtspod. Thanks again, and see you all next week. Bye bye.